M1 Finance's party trick is that it's a hybrid between a robo-advisor and a traditional brokerage. What does that mean, and should you care? And if it's a good fit for you, how do you use it? Well, we're going to talk about that. Hey friends, Andy here. How you doing? Good to see ya. So what exactly am I covering in this video? I'm gonna do two things in this video. Number one, I'm going to give you a short review / overview of M1 Finance. In my review, I'll go over who I think M1 is best for, what the pros and cons are, and what the standout features are. And number two, the second thing I will do in this video is I'm going to jump into M1 and do a quick tutorial of their main features so you can get started right away. Okay, let's start. M1 Finance is a hybrid between a robo-advisor and a traditional brokerage. More specifically, it's a traditional brokerage with a robo-advisor aspect. You can pick what investments you want, and then the investing portion is automated. It's like combining Vanguard and Betterment into one. Vanguard being a very traditional brokerage and Betterment being a full-on robo-advisor. It gives you the control of picking your investments like Vanguard, but with a much more updated feature set and much more modern UI. It also gives you the automation of something like Betterment, but without the need to fill out lengthy questionnaires or selecting what your investing risk preferences are. This is why I really like M1. I like Vanguard, but I want something with automation options and more modern features, but I don't want to go with something like Betterment because I want more detailed control of where my money is going. So that's where M1 comes in, sliding into your DMs. I don't know about that. Am I dating myself? Do I sound old when I say that like that? How do they do this? Well, they automate with pies. This is the best feature of M1 and what makes it so different from some of the other modern investing platforms like Robinhood. It's a great way to have a say in what you invest in, but keeping it largely hands off. So who is M1 for? Well, it's for general investors, long-term investors, retirement investing, income earners, dividend earning, and sector investing like technology, healthcare, automotive, etc. Who it's not for though is active traders, day traders, short-term or time-sensitive investing, or mutual fund investors. I'll get into why it's not for you folks here in a second. So the upsides to M1 has a great app that's easy to use, excellent web UI to go along with the app. In both the app and web interface, there is a very nice overview dashboard. There are no fees, which means commission-free trading. You can buy fractional shares, which is buying part of a stock. For example, Amazon is it? 3,100. If Amazon is trading around $3,000 and your monthly contribution limit to your investment account is only $1,000, well then you can't afford an entire Amazon share. With M1, they let you buy a piece of Amazon, and so eventually you will own one full share. That's fractional shares. Like I said earlier, the best feature is that they have automated investing with pies. So you pick the stocks, funds, and ETFs, etc. to fill your pie. You then pick what percentage of each pie each investment occupies, and then they automatically invest according to your pie. If you're unsure what to fill your pie with, I recommend either apples or cherries, then they have expert pies available to use for free. They also support auto rebalancing of your pies. Any dividends you earn can be automatically reinvested. When you first open your account, you can fund it with as little as $100 to start. After that, for all the future investments, you can do it with as little as $10. They have a concierge service that will help you transfer your current brokerage or retirement account over to M1. They have an M1 spend account where they have a debit card that gives you cash back and lets you earn interest. Now this next one could be a pro or a con, but there is M1 Borrow. If you have a minimum of $10,000 in your account, you can borrow against your portfolio. And depending on what level of account you have with M1, it would be either at 2% or 3.5% interest rate. Now this can be super powerful if you use it wisely, but it can also be very dangerous, so be careful when borrowing. So the downsides to M1, number one on the list is trading windows. You have to trade in their predetermined windows. It's one of the ways they keep their costs down. If you want a second window, you need to have M1 Plus or to have $25,000 invested. M1 is really not for short-term trading like day trading. The trading windows are far too restrictive for that. They have a great desktop UI, but it can be confusing at first, but it gets really easy once you're used to it. M1 does not have mutual funds. I think this one's okay though because they have lots of good equivalents, and a lot of mutual funds have expensive fees. They don't support tax loss harvesting, and when you manually rebalance your account, it can cause a taxable event. So that's my quick overview / review of M1 Finance. I think it's an excellent investing platform. I'm starting to invest there myself. Now that you have a clearer picture of what M1 is and who it's for, let's jump into the tutorial. God. The main thing I'm going to focus on in the tutorial is how to use M1 Finance's pies. I think this is their best feature, but it's also a little bit confusing when you first start out, so I wanted to explain what I've learned in the pie creation and management process. So let's jump into M1. This is the homepage. When you first view M1, when you view a website, you go to the homepage. That's just what you do. And you can click the Get Started to sign up. Or if you click the link down in the description, you can sign up via my link. And when you fund your account with $100, you get $10 extra and I get $10 extra. It's a win-win. So once you put in an email and create a password, it will then ask you for a bunch of personal information to verify who you are and all that good stuff. The very next thing it's going to do is it's going to help you set up your very first pie. Now, if you're like me, when you're setting up this sample pie, you're just gonna be picking stuff that looks interesting to you right off the bat. You're gonna pick a couple of popular stocks or funds or whatever. It doesn't really matter because this is just M1's way to teach you how to use the pies. You can erase this pie later, so just add some stuff to it, try it out, and move on to the next part of the process. The next part is they are going to ask you to fund your account. The minimum to fund the account is $100. You can, of course, fund with more, but not any less than that when you're first getting started. As you'll see, I funded mine with $500 just to get it going, but again, you can start with as little as $100. After the initial round of funding, for future funding, you can fund less or more or whatever. It's very flexible. Okay, so once you go through that process, you will be presented with your M1 Finance main portfolio overview page. That was a mouthful. So on this page, one of the biggest things you're gonna notice is this round circle here. This is your main portfolio pie. Whatever you have in your main portfolio will make up 100% of this pie, which right now my pie only has Apple in it, but we're about to change that. At the top, you will see your cash balance, which like I said, I opened my account with $500, so that is sitting right here, but you can click deposit and deposit more. You can also turn on auto investing so that it automatically every week or every month or whatever your timeline is, you can automatically invest a certain amount of money into your main portfolio. Once you have that money out of the cash balance and actually invested into your portfolio, it will show up here under current value. You'll see your gains, your returns, all that good stuff that that's pretty normal for a brokerage account, but that's where that will show up. Okay, so like I said, this is your main portfolio pie. And if we hover over that, it says Apple, because Apple is 100% of my portfolio pie at the moment. But we can hit edit, and now we can see the main portfolio, which you can actually change the name of it. If you want to call it portfolio number 1, numero uno, whatever. Okay, so as you can see in my main portfolio, I have Apple in here, which is taking up 100% of my pie. So let's change that. Let's hit this add button. Now I'm not gonna have much rhyme or reason for what I'm gonna add. I'm just gonna add some stuff to show you how the process works. But let's add Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and how about some good old Tesla? Okay, and you will see all those additional 4 individual stocks here down at the bottom. This is your stock basket. So we're gonna take our stock basket and add it. And now you will see that we're on our main portfolio pie, which again is still 100% Apple because Apple has 100% of the pie. So we need to change that. So you can either subtract manually and say, oh, I want 30% to be Apple, and you want the rest of these to be something else. See how it is now 10. Now that I've kind of spread that out, you can see that my portfolio has a spread of stocks, and now they all total 100%. Or if when you first get started, you want to hit select all and hit equalize, it will automatically split it between them. In this case, I have 5 stocks, so that's an easy 20% per stock. And you can see here is their split on the pie. And when you hit 100%, the save button lights up, so you can actually save it. And now this next part is pretty important. When I hit save, it's going to say confirm changes. It's going to say, are you sure you want to make changes in your portfolio? Any removed slices will be sold the next trade window. Proceeds will be reinvested into this pie. So what this means is if I already had money invested in this pie and it was all 100% in Apple, and I just decided to add these other stocks and split it up, when I hit confirm, let's say I have $100 in this pie and $100 in Apple, it will then sell 80% of my Apple shares and spread that 80% out through the other stocks. But the thing to be aware of here is when you sell some of those shares to put them elsewhere, selling your stock is a taxable event, meaning you have to pay taxes on either your gains if you have any, or you're gonna have to realize those losses if there are losses. But either way, it's a taxable event. But I don't have any money in this pie yet. It's just for playing with, so I can safely hit confirm without worrying about a taxable event occurring. And now I'm back on my main portfolio page, and you will see my slices has gone from just Apple to all 5 of these. And now my pie actually has slices. Yum, yum. So you think you can just add as many funds and things as you want, split them up, and you have all these pieces of your pie, and that's how it works. Well, that is definitely how the main portfolio pie works at its simplest level. However, I want to show you the feature I was kind of looking forward to with M1 that took me a little bit of figuring out to understand how it works, and that is to put a pie within your pie. So to create more pies, and you can create as many pies as you want, you go up to these tabs here and click on Research, and then you click on the My Pies tab, and you can see I already have some pies I've been playing around with. Including, this is my favorite pie, where I have no idea what I'm doing. If you click the Create New Pie button, now we have all of this is our stock view. You can click on funds and we can look at funds. So let's put one together that has some index funds or some ETFs in it. So let's put VTI, VOO, let's do QQQ, and that's great. Let's do 3 index fund and ETFs. Again, they pop up down here in my stock basket. Hit add. And now I have created a new pie. This pie doesn't do anything at the moment, but it is now newly created and newly named New Pie with today's date. So first thing I want to do is I want to change the name, and I'm going to call this one Total Market Funds. And if you want, you can give it a description and help remind yourself why you picked this stuff out. And I'm going to say that I wanted a little of everything. Hit save. Okay, so now I have this new pie that is Total Market Funds, and again, I haven't changed my main portfolio. It is still just these 5 stocks. Let's say you were on the Total Market Funds one you just picked. You can either click Add to Portfolio here, or on the My Pies view, you can hit the Add to Portfolio with any of these. So, Total Market Funds, when I just created, Add to Portfolio. And this is the same view we had before. I'm presented with my pie total, which is currently at 100%, and my new pie that I added to my main portfolio is at 0 because, again, it can only equal 100. So if I click this, and I hit Equalize, now they all go to 17 or 16%, so it all equals 100. But I'm a big believer in index funds. I think they're one of the best places you can invest your money. Individual stocks, not so much, a little bit riskier. So let's say I want 50% of my portfolio to go into the total market funds. Let's reduce Google to 10%. Oops, 10%. And let's do Amazon at 10. Let's do Apple at 5, Microsoft at 5, and let's put Tesla, for the sake of this, at 20. So now we're 100% total. I hit save. And again, it's going to confirm that you could be having a taxable event occur. Again, there's no money in this currently, so I'm not, but you should be very aware of this. Hit confirm. And now my main portfolio pie is even more diversified. And you can see my different slices here. When I hover them over, it shows you what they are. And again, these are individual stocks, but this one at the top, my biggest slice, is actually a pie within my main pie. So if I click on that, it will show me my funds I have in that pie. And if I go back, there it is. And you can do this unlimited times. So let's say I want to create one more pie, and this one's just going to be some tech companies. So let's do the same ones again, basically. some Nvidia, some Tesla. Again, they all pop up here. I want to add some AMD because they are making some amazing products. I'll add that to the basket and then hit add. Okay, again, I have a brand new pie, and I'm gonna call this pie a tech stocks. You can add 100 in here, or you can add 2 or 1. It's really whatever. This is totally personal preference, and this is why I like M1, because you automate the investing part, but the part where you select your actual investments is all up to you and your personal preference and strategy. And the other cool thing here is you can also see your pie and its historical data, its historical returns. So in the case of my tech stocks pie, if I had invested money into this pie 5 years ago, I would be up 1,093% as of today. That's wild. So I have changed the name to tech stocks. There it is. I'm gonna hit add to portfolio. And now at the top, I have tech stocks, I have my total market funds, but now these other ones are irrelevant because they are in my new pie. So I'm going to remove those. And I think my tech stock should be 30% of my pie, and total market at 70. I hit save, confirm, and now I have a very simple main pie view, which is just 70% total market funds pie and 30% tech stocks pie. And again, I can add as many more pies in here as I want. Some people use this to differentiate by sector. They have healthcare pie and technology and automotive and green energy, EV. They have all these different pies within their main portfolio pie, and each of those sector category pies has 1 to 50 stocks or whatever in it. So you can really kind of get down in the nitty gritty, get exactly what funds and stocks you want. The cool thing is, all that trickles up to this main portfolio view. So if I take that $500 and I go ahead and invest it right now, I invest that $500 across my entire portfolio, which then invested across all those pies and slices that I've added. And that's totally automatic. And the cool thing here is they automatically rebalance as you go. So let's say in the next month or two, my tech stocks keeps pumping up, and all of a sudden my tech stocks is actually like 50% of my total main portfolio, and my total market funds is dropped to 50% of my total portfolio value. Well, M1's gonna know that I actually want 70% of my value to be in the total market. So the next time it invests, it will not invest any of the money I'm automatically investing into the tech stocks. It'll just leave them. But it'll put all that money, 100% of it, into my total market fund pie. And as it does that, in 1 or 2 months or however long it takes, it will then bring that value back up to my desired amount, which is 70%, and then have the tech stocks at 30%. And as stuff gains and loses, it will adjust like that without actually selling anything. It's just the contribution balancing going forward. This is a really, really cool feature because you set what values you prefer, and it does the rest over time. You can, of course, rebalance manually. You can either change the pie slices or things like I was showing you, but if you do it manually, that is a taxable event. So you need to know your tax law with that stuff and how much you're gonna be paying or how you're gonna be dealing with that. So this is just a standard taxable brokerage account I have with M1. Like I said in my Roth IRA accounts video, M1 Finance has an excellent Roth IRA. I highly recommend it. If you wanna add that along with your standard brokerage account, you just hit the add account button. And this gives you the option to add a new account type, including retirement. What's really cool about M1 is you have your main account, but then below that you have sub brokerage accounts. So you can have a Roth IRA, you can have a standard IRA, and you can have your taxable brokerage account like I have right here. You can have them all under one roof, so to speak. And like I said in the review section, M1 does have limited trade windows. You can see that right here. You have the morning time or the afternoon. In order to get access to this afternoon one, you need M1 Plus. M1 Plus gives you some extra features, but it does cost $125 a year. However, I think when you first sign up, they do give you an offer where you can get $100 off and just get that first year for $25. I don't know whether I'm going to do this or not. I'm not sure if it's really worth it, but M1 Plus is something you can do to get access to that second trading window if that's important to you. It also gives you some extra features like earning 1% APY and 1% cash back on your debit card if you open up an M1 spend account with them. This also drops your borrow rate from 3.5 to 2%. So it gives you a few features like that, but one of the bigger ones, I guess, would be the extra trading window if that's particularly important to you, which I'm a pretty long-term hands-off, not really ever selling kind of investor, so I probably won't be exercising my multiple trading windows. Okay, so that kind of wraps up my tutorial of how to create and use pies within M1 Finance. If M1 Finance sounds like the brokerage account for you, then please use the link in my description. When you fund your $100 to start the account, you get $10, I get $10. It's a win-win, and it helps support making videos like this. If you enjoyed this video, you got something out of it, you learned something, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I cover all things money and would really love it if you stuck around. Also, please click that like button. It helps the video a lot. Otherwise, I will catch you in the next video. See you later.